Hello, Carrots here. Welcome to episode 33 of the Isla Paradiso bunch. This is the end of their visit to China. We'll be off to France at the end of this episode. And today we will be spending most of the episode with Muriel. Here she is meditating at the Scholar's Garden. Now she is in the middle of a chain of adventures which started when she got an adventure off the adventure board to learn from the master's palm. She had to go and spar with a sparring partner. And then she had to report in and go and meditate at the Scholar's Garden. But while Muriel is still meditating, she's got to do 2 hours of meditating after getting herself up to level 5 in martial arts. Here we see Hayley fishing at the hot springs. She has to catch some Kawamo koi. And although her fishing skill is high enough, I thought I'd send her to see if she could catch a few fish. If she doesn't get them and I'm tired of leaving her there, I will transfer some fish to her inventory from another Sim's inventory and she can report in with those. But for the meantime, you can enjoy the sight of the dragonfish in that pond closest to us. You can see their fire-breathing dragonfish with them breathing out their fire underwater. It's a bit of fun just watching the fish swimming around in the pond while Hayley goes off in the distance and fishes in the next pond for Kawamo koi. So I transferred some fish from Judy's inventory to Hayley, so now she is going to be able to report in with her catch. Might as well get rid of some of the stuff in some of the other inventories as well while I'm thinking about it. There's not much point in running around with lots of stuff we don't need. It just makes the game lag more. I've got way too much in the inventories for a nice game at the moment. At least I've only got 8 Sims that I'm dealing with in China. I left the rest of them back at home in Isla Paradiso. So, looks like Muriel has done her meditation. She's done her 2 hours and now she's off to report in. Gonna hop on a bike. Might as well watch her as she rides off into the marketplace where her person is that she's got to report into. I enjoyed that taxi lights going by in the middle of China. It's funny how they've got the same taxis in every world. That taxi cab company must be a very big taxi cab company. I can hear a funny noise in the background and all I can put it down to is Mickey snoring. Mickey is my little dog and he's at my feet and I can't keep him away from me. So I'm sorry. It's just he is snoring. Maybe it's getting through somehow. So Muriel has arrived at the market where there's a crowd gathered around Diana who is performing for tips. And she's reported in and she's got a new adventure. This is find the writings of Qin Shen Hu and deliver them to earn ancient coins. You had a most startling and unexpected vision. I knew you would see something. I did not know you would see this. It is the keystone to the ancient monk retreat. Use this key to enter the tomb and retrieve an ancient relic, one that contains the ancient writings of Qin Shen Hu. So, that is where Muriel is going to head off to now. As I was saying, this is part of an adventure chain, and this is the final part of that particular adventure chain. She starts out by going to the board at the base camp, the adventure board, where she found the adventure of learning from the master's palm. After she had gone to visit the Kung Fu master or the martial arts master, where she learnt some sparring skills. She reported in and was given the next adventure, which was to meditate, where meditation is the key. She had to get to level 5 in a martial arts skill first, though. Here's Hayley returning to deliver the fish. Anyway, after Muriel got to level 5 in martial arts, she was able to meditate at the garden for 2 hours. And she reported into the person at the market where Diana was performing for tips, and Josephine was part of the crowd watching her perform. And she got the last part of the adventure, which is to find the writings of Queen Shan Hu and deliver them to earn ancient coins. And Hayley's the genie, so that's why she's floating off in a cloud of light. So that is the inside the tomb of the ancient monk's retreat. But up the very top, which is where I've sent Muriel to start with, she probably needs a bit of a refreshment. So there's a bathtub up there. She can have a bath, and then she can have something to eat to prepare herself for getting into the tomb. Wasn't actually planning for her to have a bath, but she probably needs one. She'll feel better after. And while she is getting refreshed, we will follow Hayley as she goes to deliver her Kwamo koi, most of which she caught herself, but some of them were from Judy's inventory. It doesn't really matter so long as she delivers the fish. And they're not going to be eaten, they're going to the pond in the Scholar's Garden. So she's arrived at the Scholar's Garden, where she is going to deliver the fish. And then she'll get some visa points and some ancient coins in return for the fish. And she needs the ancient coins so that the household can buy things from the special merchant. And she needs the visa points so she can buy a house. So whichever household member manages to get to level 3 visa skills first is the one who's going to buy the house, because all their simoleons belong to all of the Sims in the household, so it doesn't really matter who buys the house. So they're all trying to be the Sim who gets to level 3 visa first. So Hayley's delivered her fish, and then most of the rest of the time we will be with Muriel as she works her way through this particular tomb. Now, any Sim can get into this upper part of the tomb at any time, so if you're out adventuring in China, you can always send your Sim up to the top of this particular tomb, and they can go and have something to eat and have a bath, go to the toilet, whatever they need to do to freshen up, and then continue on with their adventure. To be able to get into the part of the tomb where they can actually sleep on the beds, though, you'll need the key. So only if one of your Sims has actually done the adventure and opened up the tomb will you be able to send somebody inside the tomb to sleep. Here she is. She's going to eat something. There's no actual table, but she can sit there in a nice comfortable chair and have a simple meal out of the fridge. There's no stove there either, so it's just whatever quick meal that they want to get from the fridge. Now the way to get into this tomb is right down at the ground level, so when she's finished eating, I'll send her back down to the entrance, which is just as you walk onto the tomb at the bottom of the steps that she had to walk up to come up to this top part. When she gets back down to the bottom, she'll see a floor switch that she needs to stand on. And when she stands on that switch, some hidden staircase will suddenly open up, and she can go down into the basement levels underneath the tomb. If you've got another sim with you, you'll have to make sure that they're not standing on the wrong side of where the steps are going to open up, or they'll be stuck there. You'll have to reset them. If you've only got one sim, though, you haven't got a problem, because they'll be standing on the floor switch when the steps appear, and the floor switch is quite a way from where the steps open up. So there she's going down the steps now. And you can see the floor switch down at the bottom. And that little square part between the tree and where the floor switch is, there's a square area there. That's where the steps are going to open up. So don't have a sim standing in there, or they'll get stuck. They can't get it out again until you reset them. So now she can walk down those steps, and she'll be starting her adventure. First of all, she'll clear a couple of rubble piles and find a hidden door that she can go into the room and retrieve some treasure. And after she's got that treasure, then she'll use the key to get into the main part of the tomb. Up until this point, though, any sim can get in and do all of what she's doing here. It's just what comes after she has put the key in the door and gone through into the tomb that you need this adventure. I'll let her clear those rubble piles. I could have given her the axe that Judy's got in her inventory, but there are skills that they develop by clearing rubble piles, and I like to let them get to the point where they can clear the rubble pile fairly quickly on their own. And only after that point do I give them the axe, generally. Sometimes I just want to get them through the tomb. But yeah, I'll let her clear these rubble piles without the assistance of Judy's axe. But I can usually transfer the axe through to any inventory. Same as anything else. They can all use it. But I won't force you to sit through all of the tedious digging with the axe to remove the rubble pile, so I'll cut a bit out here and I'll show you just the interesting bits. So she's finished clearing that pile, and she's found some ancient coins which she can collect. That'll be nice to add to their collection of ancient coins that they can spend with the special merchant. Now there's another rubble pile that she needs to clear. And again, I'll cut out most of the hard work. She takes a minute or two to finish digging through this rubble pile. And when she gets there, she's still increasing skill, but you'll see her doing this for a few more rubble piles yet. And then she's found a hole in the wall where she's going to find a switch eventually. And that has revealed a hidden door. And when she goes through that hidden door, she'll find some treasure. So she'll collect the treasure, and then she will come back out into the main part of the entryway to the tomb. And she'll go up to the door and put the keystone in the place in the tomb that is there to put the keystone in. You can easily find it because it's got all those sparkly things coming out of it. And when she's done that, that door will unlock and she can go through into the next room. The chain's dropped off the door and she can go straight through now. And she can start the adventure. The whole time I'm at home here, whenever I'm sitting down somewhere or even walking around, those two little shadows, two little dogs, just go everywhere. And I took some time to settle them down before because they were climbing all over me and I wanted to use the computer. That's why I'm not keen to disturb them right now. But they're both sleeping. They've each got a cushion on the floor next to my chair. So here is Muriel. She's pulling a pushable statue onto a floor switch. There's two pushable statues in this room, and she discovers there's actually two floor switches as well. And once she has placed the two pushable statues into the appropriate spots, she gets the next part of the adventure. I'm a bit wary of her walking on dark areas in tombs because sometimes I forget where the fire traps are hidden. Looks like there is a hole in the wall behind that statue. So it's probably the one she should have moved first. She just pull it forward a bit. Go and check out that hole in the wall. It might reveal the floor switches that she's looking for. There we go. Floor switches revealed. Got to push the pushable statues onto the floor switches. That should open a door. It would probably be quicker to have two Sims in this tomb, but I've only got one. We just got Muriel with us today. The others are all off somewhere. Diana's still performing for tips unless she's got too hungry or tired and decided to stop. No idea what Josephine's up to. She's either watching Diana or else she's picking a fight with someone for sure. And the others are just doing whatever they want to do back at the base camp. I don't think I've actually got them all set tasks at the moment. So I'll probably go back to the base camp later and find everything's broken. It's a little fluffy white dog just walked in, little Miss Mia. I thought she was sleeping on the floor beside me, but she's not. Now I mentioned her name, so she's looking at me with a very inquiring look on her little face. They're both awake now. Mickey wants to climb on my lap, but I think he can stay off. But he's standing up on his back feet with his front feet on my leg. So she's gone through to that first door at the back, and along that row, that hallway, there's a lot of doors, and in each of those rooms there's a bed and some treasure or a switch that she needs to switch on or off, or whatever, to open another door. And later on, once she's been through this tomb, like at any point from now on, you can actually send your Sim into here to sleep if they're out adventuring and you don't want them to go back to base camp. They can cook themselves, can't cook, but they can get themselves a meal upstairs at the top level and have a bath, and then come down here and have a sleep in one of the beds. So this is just the first part of the tomb where she's getting a few extra treasures and finding a way down to the bottom part of the tomb. Okay, so that was a switch that she's just flicked, and now she can go into the final door. She's got another switch or something. Oh, that's the final door. I thought she was finishing up a bit too soon. Because when she's finished up in here, the door will be available down at the other end of the hallway, to where she is now. And that opens up a room that she can go into to get some treasures. You don't really have to go into this part of the tomb if you don't want to, but it's good to go through there, get a bit of extra treasure. Something else to fill her inventory up with. Slow the game down, unless I sell it. So here's that hidden door. She's going to go through it now. Just got to find everything she can find. I like to try to get everything out of the tomb when I go in to one, because then I don't have to go back again. Unless it's another adventure, because once you go back home and return to China, then some of these treasure chests and things will have more treasures in them. Not all of them. And they don't fill up while you're still on the same visit. Now she's going down through that door that she just opened up when she pushed the pushable statues, and she unlocked that door then, and now she's going down the steps where she will find some more doors, and there will be messages on the wall that she needs to read before she goes through the doors. And the messages that she has to read will tell her give her some tips about what she needs to do when she goes into each of these rooms. There's little puzzles that she's got to solve. In one of them, timing is everything. And in the next door, it is the darkness hides danger. That's where I get the idea to avoid dark places in tombs. And in the third door, you need logic to work out how to get through it. This is where timing is everything. She's got to time herself to go across. The only way across those fire traps is to just try to run across them. And she can't get to where she needs to be until she actually attempts to cross each of these fire traps. So that's why timing is everything in this instance. But once she gets across, the trap is disarmed. I rarely get to see them caught in there. They do get caught sometimes, but not often. So it's essential to have lots of shower in a can in your Sims inventory, because otherwise they'll get singed. So there she's found some treasure. And once they're singed, if they go through and get caught in another fire trap, they die. You don't want your Sim to die in a tomb. So now she's got to jump into that, dive well, to get back to that room that she just started from. The one with the doors in it that she has to read the messages. Then she can enter the next door. It's a very dark tomb until she's opened everything up. So she's got to go through the dive well to come back to the part of the tomb where she can open up the next door to solve the next part of this tomb. Read the next message next to the next door that she's got to go through. In this room, darkness hides danger. So just be careful where you walk, lady. There's lots of fire traps in this room. So she's walking around the dark part of the floor very carefully. Then she's going to push that pushable statue onto that floor switch. And then it should be safe. because you can disarm fire traps by pushing a pushable statue across them. There goes one. It's opened up this other door, so she can go through that door now. You could push that statue around and get rid of all the fire traps if you wanted to, but I didn't bother with that. I just left them all there. Don't need to walk over them. We won't go back through there again. Now that's the treasure chest with the sparkly bit, so that must be where the ancient writings of Qin Shan Hu must be. So there it is. She has opened up the treasure chest and she has taken the writings. That's what she's looking for. Now at this point you could just go back and report in, but I happen to want to collect all of the tomb collection for China, and I know that there is a sigil in this cave or this tomb, and she has to complete the next part of the adventure to get it. And so she's got to go through the third door and read the third message on the wall, which will tell her that she needs logic to get through the next one, because we've got more fire traps to get through, of course. This one, the fire traps are actually on the walls. There they are. So she's got to get all the way through there. You've got to disarm and rearm, because she can't turn them all off. She's just got to turn off the right ones each time, because there's a lot of wall switches that she uses, and she has to use the wall switches to turn off some of the fire traps. But of course, when she turns one off, another one comes on somewhere else. So there it is. She's managed to get all of those ones off to get through to that end wall switch, and that one will actually, she needs to get through to that one to be able to get the other two turned off to go down the hallway. So now she's turned that one back on, because that's turned it off for the hallway she needs to go through next. And this wall switch will turn that one off, so now she can run down that hallway safely. And she'll find another switch at the end, which she has to turn some more off with. Lucky she doesn't have to come back the same way that she went in. So that's a hidden door that she's unhidden there as well. That's where the sigil is. She's got to go in there to pick it up. So that's the big secret of this cave, I think, or this tomb, is to know that hidden door's there. She's trying to get it open so she can get in. There's quite a bit of treasure in there as well, so it's worthwhile going in there. There it is. Pick up all the coins and the other treasures. I think there's some ancient coins on the floor, that they're being hidden by the user interface there at the bottom. She might have to go back in there to get them. So now she's turned off that one fire trap on the wall, and she's got one more to turn off and she can get out. But she's just gone in to pick up those ancient coins that she forgot to get. Got to work out which particular wool switch she's got to switch to get that fire to go out. It's taking her a while. Wrong switch. It's done it. Now she can just get out of the tomb and go and report in. Because that's the end of it. Oh, there's another little treasure chest there to get the last of the treasure. Jump in the well, dive well, and escape. So she'll go through that dive well, swim through, and go and report in. And that will be the end of this video, because it's time for them to move on to France. They've done all they can here for now. They'll have to come back to China later on to complete some other tombs, but I think some of them have got adventures that require them to go to France before they can finish off their own China adventures, because quite a few of these adventures that they get make them travel to other World Adventure worlds to do part of the adventure chain. So she's reported in by the look of it. She's going to sit there and have a little read of a book or something. I wonder if Diana managed to get her level of her magician career up by doing all that performing for tips. That's why I bring her with me for the tours and the world adventures, is so that she can keep progressing in her career. I always send her to the market to perform for tips. Sometimes she gets adventures, but mostly she just performs for tips. Now they're off to France. Now, if you didn't have the mod that I'm using, which is the NRAAS Traveler mod, you've got to go back home. You can't go directly to other worlds. You need to go back home and wait for 2 days before you can travel onto the different worlds. But anyway, that's it for now. End of the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Bye-bye for now. I'll see you in their first trip to France in episode 34. Happy simming.